I did not expect that. Goes to show you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. In fact, I thought the score we had in this game was going to be flipped. I can't say I'm very unhappy about being wrong. I know there's Bills fans that watch my channel, especially the coverage of the Bills, so I'm not going to get too giddy. I'll save that for my Dolphins fans later in the week. But guys, we came out to play smart. Bills fans, I don't think you were really prepped to play. I hated Brady's offensive philosophy. For you guys, for me, I liked it. I couldn't believe it. I think that kind of set the tone. There looked like there was a little deflation, but you guys shot yourselves in the foot. And to my Dolphins' credit, we had the best game plan possible. We stuck with it, something we don't usually do. And we made big plays on both sides of the ball. You kind of gave it to us a little bit, but we took a ton. This obviously doesn't mean we're a better team or franchise than you, but for this day, we are beating you 30-13. Maybe in the last couple of seconds, some points go on. So I'm going to break down this game and the implications and the crazy part. Let me even confirm to make sure that's true. We got a little time left, but is New England leading this division? New England's going to win this division. That is crazy. I thought they would be tough this season, but I never thought that. So it's a wacky AFC East. Dolphins pull it out, move to 3-7. So let me break it all down. But guys, like, subscribes, comments, and views, all that stuff keeps Curtis in the biz. They got a new hype thing. I don't know what it means, but if you got a second or two, hit the like. If you can, hit the subscribe or hit the hype button, whatever. Keep Curtis in the biz, so I appreciate that. So football is a game of philosophy. And if you look at the Dolphins, they struggled not when teams run the football, when they run the football a lot. And for me, it just seemed Bills run the most, 51%. And I figured, you know what? They're going to run that football, and our defense can stop the run. But if the number of carries get up there without Chop, without Phillips, eventually we're going to break open. But the Bills came out, Brady, at the end of the first half, 7 rushes and 13 passes. Some of that was because what we did, it was flipped. I think we had 8 passes and 19 rushes at the end of the first half. You add in that heat, sapping you guys. After a tough game last week, it all came together. Now, I believe the football is obviously about the execution and all that, but the framework is key. So if you go back and you look at Allen's success over the last couple of years, it really involves with him being in balance with that run game, especially now that you lack the top receivers without Diggs, but not the old fumble, Dable, and shaky bones Dorsey way. But that's what you guys fell into. And the Dolphins, to their credit, played the exact opposite. We usually play fumble, and this is what the NFL is about. And if you don't follow this cycle, the chances of you losing is very high. It's high leverage. But look at this. Allen, 40 attempts against 19 rushes. That's way out of whack for your usual winning formula. Now, conversely, the Dolphins, we had 22 rushes and 27 attempts. And every time we have this layout of pass balance like this, we're either close or we win. And so from your guys' standpoint, you lack the big play talent and lack the leverage. Kincaid going out really hurts you. But you cannot play this kind of football. It's just too inconsistent. But for Tua fans or Tua haters, you could see how this guy could play. Yeah, he Tua threw the 2 picks. But the first pick, it was a punt. And there was, I believe, some pressure. It was a 3rd down play. I can't remember if there was pressure or not. But the second int, Jonas Savanaia might be worse than Eichenberg. He sees a guy blitzing, And he sees a guy blitzing to the left when he knows he's got a guy to the left, and he chases him and lets him straight through. And Tua just throws it up. Tua's, he maybe should have ate it, but in the end, when you tack on the interception and the penalty, it was probably better than a punt. Now, maybe if he didn't get the penalty, it would have been worse than a punt. Maybe Tua should have just ate it. But that pressure was there. But did you see Tua make the play to Waddle in the corner? The beautiful, I think it was to Washington. That was too nice. He had a good game, but as a piece of the puzzle. And you could see with Josh Allen, who was, a super, super duper talent. But when he has to throw all day, it's very difficult. Now, to further add to this, to give McDaniel kudos and a little bit of on Brady, the run game dispersion, the way the Dolphins attacked with the run game and the balance was just way smart, especially on a hot day like this. It was super hot, but it's muggy. And there's no way that I cannot talk about Devon Achane's day. What 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, long of 59, 22 carries, 6 catches for 51, long 15. That's 225 yards on the day. Man, it was something spectacular. I mean, you can't expect to get this kind of production, but this was an amazing day. But, you could say that Allen's been getting 140, 150 yards on the ground, maybe 20, 30 yards from Cook. So his usual support is not too much lower than this, but this was a truly exceptional day. And this run at the end is, you could just feel the back being broken. Yeah, there's only 6 minutes left. Look at Achane. He hits the hole right in the middle. And look at this. This was a beautiful, and then a snap right there, and then takes it the distance. Achane and McDaniel using him. It could be a little too much, but you wanted this win. But if you go back and you dig in deeper, so Allen was blitzed 39.5%, which is insanely high. Now, if you take the blitz rate and the pressure rate, if it's equal, that means the line did okay because it managed to blitz. If the pressure rate's higher than the blitz rate, that means the offensive line struggled. And if it's less, they did well. So given the circumstances, they had 36.8 pressure compared to 39.5 blitz rate. So it was a 3% leverage towards the defense holding things up. But you go last week when they played KC, their play action was 30%, their screen was 26%, and the screens take advantage of big blitzes because you get the blitzes and you throw it over and you got a thin secondary. And with play action, you run that football enough, you got lots of bodies there, and that's how you open things up. But the running game wasn't there to support the play action. And Brady made a strange choice, only 15.8% play action. I sort of understand you were behind a little bit, but not so much. I thought Brady got a little nervous. But the screen was only 7.9% to 39.5% blitz rate. Not smart. Now, on the flip side, Tua, with his 22 passes, he was blitzed 21.7%. The pressure rate was 26.4. So you're talking 4.7 to the downside. So they underachieved by 4.7%, even with 30.4 play action percent and 21.7 screen percent. But this is what I've talked about for Bills fans when I spend a lot more time covering them, and I'm sure my Fins fans are sick of hearing it. But legitimate play action. Tua had a 18.6 yards per attempt on 7 play action plays and 2 big time throws, but that came off of the play action, legitimate play action. And this is where the Bills totally screwed up. both teams came out fumble, and I didn't like the way either, from their perspective, didn't like what they were doing. But then Miami really dialed it in to the next drive towards this pass bounce where the Bills kind of still played this flaky fumble stuff. But if you're getting blitzed 39.5, you've got to use screens and play actions to offset this. And they just really didn't. And that's how they were able to take advantage of the Chiefs. The Dolphins did it. The whole game plan was very good. Now, McDaniel screwed up calling 3 timeouts in the first half. That was a problem. But really, I don't think there was much more than that. McDaniel outcoached. Weaver outcoached the Bills. Now, I thought the Bills did pretty good on defense for a while, but then they got gassed. You can't have this guy. I forgot what the time of possession is. I needed to check. But they eventually got gassed. And this is another thing I'm talking about. What the Bills usually do. You run that football, pound it inside, break the bodies, and then steal the will so they fold like cheap lawn chairs in the third and fourth quarter. And Miami did it. And then this is usually your MO. It was so surprising and shocking that this went. But for Bills fans, you got to get back to it. The problem is that you don't have the kind of offense that can really play from behind too well. It's herky-jerky. You just don't have the receiving talent. Coleman's okay, but you really do lack receiving talent, especially when Kincaid's not there. But for the Dolphins fans, look, guys, Tua's been healthy all year. We say he's not healthy. He's been healthy all year. You see, when you play football like this, he looks pretty good. Not great, but if we had been doing this since 2020, we tried in 2020, but he wasn't healthy and I didn't know the playbook. 21, we really didn't do it. And then we moved to the fumble system in 22, 23, and 24. But you could see that this guy could be viable. And it looks like he's going to be healthy. Still not saying we got to keep him because some people will melt down. But whatever quarterback we get in here, if Allen needs it, then they're going to need it. And then certainly Tua needs it. So the offense, I said, needed to drive this win. Never thought McDaniel would do it. Never thought he would have the intestinal fortitude to do it. But I was wrong. And I never thought that Brady would go to Shaky Bones Dorsey or Fumble Dable style, and he kind of did. Now, obviously, you guys are going to be in contention for the division. It makes it really hard to lose this game and retake this division. I still think you can, but the Patriots are the real deal. They've got great head coach, great OC. They're a little shaky in certain parts, but now they've got a full game, a game and a half lead over the Bills. So that will be very interesting. Now, for the defensive part on the Dolphins, Coleman's not the best. But Juju Brents, he disappeared for a while, but he was the perfect guy on Coleman. And I think for Bills fans, Coleman really showed that he's a limited play. He made some plays, that one that bounced off he had to catch, but he just doesn't have the explosion. So I think that might have been an overdraft for you guys. But Juju Brents played a very good game. Marshall, who I never liked at the nickel, he looked really good on the outside. I got to go back over his film to see if it was just on Coleman. But darn, he looked a lot better on the outside. You can't play him on the inside. He just doesn't have it on the inside, at least at this stage. Brooks is the middle linebacker the Dolphins have been waiting for. He's the best middle linebacker we've had, probably since Zach. But obviously Zach's way better. He's a Hall of Famer. But Brooks is darn good. He was all over the field, making plays, shooting the gap, taking Cook down. But then Minka, we finally got a big game from Minka. The Bills turned the ball over. It was Jack Jones, I think. Jack Jones' second one against the Bills, right? Was it the second one against the Bills? No, it was somebody else. Who was it? Anyway, he had the one on Cook. What a play. And then Minka had the one on Allen. And that really was a backbreakers. You had the pick inside. I don't know what that was. Bills had 3 critical. We had 2 turnovers, but they were on 3rd down and punts. But those turnovers by the Bills were critical, and Jack Jones and Minka made those plays. Now, to maintain control of this line, Chubb did okay. Judon did okay. But Grant, who we drafted, he had, I would say, from a quick view, this might have been his best game of the season. I mean, really, best game of the season from a run defense standpoint. I got to check his pass rush, but we know that's there. It's this run defense against a good offensive line. I'm very excited about that. And Jordan Phillips, our second guy we picked in the sixth round. I don't remember anymore. But he was an animal. He was a rock of Gibraltar. Seal did it pretty good. He had 1 big play, a couple little plays inside, but really Grant, and from what my quick look, Grant and Phillips really shine through. So where are we heading? I think this win is going to get McDaniels to stay. McDaniels coming back next year now. And I'm not just because of this game, but you got to figure you got Jets, Saints, Bengals, and Washington. And you're probably going to win. I think we can win 3 out of 4, if not 4 out of 4. I think the Steelers game is going to be very tough. I think Tampa game is probably going to be tough, although it's home. It depends on their injuries. And then I think the Patriots game is going to be very, very tough. So you're looking at the end of the season, Dolphins we thought 2-3 wins, but you could be in the 6 to 8 category. And I think even if you get 6, which is very likely now, if not 7. I think 7 is pretty likely. McDaniel's coming back. You're going to get a rerun. What does that mean? Some people will be happy. Some people won't. But I don't think that the tank part of the deal is in. I think the tank is now dead. You're not getting a top 5 pick. And we'll see how this plays out. But clearly, I think McDaniel's coming back. And we'll see how it plays out. But certainly 3 of those 4 games that are very mad. Jets are tanking. Saints will beat them. So that right there would be 5 wins. And then Bengals, they have no defense, and they're in our house. So I think 6 to 7 wins. I had said 7 to 9. I'll see about the 7. I think 6 is the most likely. So this was a shocker, and a nice shocker. I know some people want everything cleaned out, and I do too, but I just got to take what I can get. I don't know what they're going to do if we even had a top 5 pick or whatever. I'm just happy about this. Not happy to see Bills fans suffer. I'm past that. I just want my own goods. I don't need to be excited about other people's losing. I've done that for so long. I'm tired of it. The only thing I care about is my success. So let's see what happens. I think we're going to in for McDaniel in 2026 with Champ Kelly most likely, and see how it goes. It's not locked in, but good, very good win. I didn't think we'd win the Atlanta game or this game, and I was wrong. Very impressive wins. What does that mean for the future? I don't know. We'll see. Dolphins, if nothing else, they are consistent about being inconsistent. So this time it was good for us. Curtis saying, be well. Go Fins. Good game, Bills. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.